Hello. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so today is week 5. We'll have a quick look of the assignment. So what should we do? We will start from 0, and I will also show you some demo code for the login and block and the multiple user login at the same time. So basically just login for today. The block is also like a part of the login function. And this part will worth 5 to 6 points on the assignment. So it's around 1/5. Let's get started. Please give me a sec. I need to open the specification. Assignment. No, not this one. This one. Okay, so just open this one. The assignment specification. This one is pretty useful when you do the assignment. So what should we do when you firstly come to here? Because you can see like there are about 20 pages. It's pretty long. So firstly, just go to the this part, have a look of the objects that we need. Basically, what we need, if you go through this part, because we don't have much time, so we are not going to read it from page 1 to page 20. So you can go through them for the first 2 pages, and then you will see we need to write a server and a client. And let's scroll down to the bottom of it. Then you can see some example code, example program application. So you can see this one is terminal 1. That's how we run the server. You can use Java, Python, or C if you want. So there's no requirement for the programming language, but I recommend you to do it in Python. But obviously, you'll come to the Python session here, right? So we are going to explain in details how to do it in Python. And the second one is how to run the client. So firstly, we need to run the server like this. This 4000 means the port number, and the 3, I'm not pretty sure, maybe it's the failure time. You can have a check of these 3, but I think it's the failure time in this part. We will have a look of it later. Yep, and once we start the server with this command, then we can start the client. Specify the IP address and specify the port number. Then we are required to log in with our username and password. So today we are going to do this part. We are going to do the username and password transmission and verification. And then what's next? Once we, for the CSE student, we have different commands to run our client. You can see this is for non-CSE student. We only need an IP address and the port number. For CSE student, we need IP address, port number, and this is the UDP port number. So UDP port number is for P2P section. We will explain the P2P section in week 8 because that part is a bit hard. But firstly, just write it like that. Doesn't really matter. Yep. And this case 2, unsuccessful authentication. So run the server first, and then run the client, and then log in with an invalid password. So the server need to return invalid password. Please try again in here. And if we type 3 invalid password, then we will be blocked like this. And then we cannot connect to the server for 10 seconds, even from different IP address. Yeah, I think that's all. So that's the content for today. So we will do this part, the authentication and blocking. So it's in page 16. Okay. Do you have any questions? Is it the IP address of the server? I think you are talking about this one, right? This one. This one is the IP address of server. So because we are going to run our server and the client in VLab, so you can use 127.0.0.1. Yes. Yeah. So just run your server on the local host. You'll be fine. But like sometimes we need to use the client and server like between different computer. So you can run it on the like public IP as well. For logging, we have to store the IP address of the edge device. Is it also local address? It doesn't really matter, right? Because once you accept the connection for the client, you will get the IP address automatically, no matter it's local address or public IP address. Yeah, don't worry about it. We will have a look of it later. So let's get started. So now you know what kind of client and server should we have, and let's have a look of the marking criteria in here in the page 15. You can see the first task is to write a single client that can allow you to join in and exit out. So just the login and logout function and worth 0.5. And the second task is to write a what's that? It's the blocking function. So after we input like 2 or 3 false password, then we need to block this client. And this one is for multiple clients. Actually, this part is extremely easy, but a little bit confused at first. I will show you later just because we already have this part in our demo code. So actually you don't need to do anything to get these 4 points. And next week we will explain, not next week, but week 7, the week after our midterm exam. We will go through all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the week after week 7, we will do the P2P. I will show you how to send a file via the UDP connection. And the last week we will have a check how to do the report and do the submission, and as well as I will show you some like test case before you do the submission. So if you can pass all the test case, I can make sure you can get at least 80% of the marks. Okay, do you have any question before we get started? So now we are going to explain how to do the logging. Let me just have a double check. What's the task? Then we'll show you how to do the single login function. Okay, if no problem, then we can get started. Uh, Let me open my VLab first. Okay, this is my VLab. Let me open. Maybe we need to write something based on the spider. But firstly, we can have a look of the demo code so you can easily understand how to start it. This one, the demo code. So you can go to the assignment part and find the demo code for Python and then download it. The server code, client code. And these two codes, I will put it on the desktop and assignment demo. That's the code we have. So we can have a quick look what we have inside the server at first. So we know how to run it. You can see we are running the server on 127 localhost, and the port number we need to specify that. So we can run it like this. Python 3 TCP server and specify a port number. So make sure you specify a port number larger, greater than 5000. Let's say 5001. So it's running. So we need to run the client right now. We can have a look. How can we run the client? We need to input two parameters. The first one is the IP address. The second one is the port number. Open another terminal. Then run the client, TCP client, and the IP address and the port number. Then you can see it's already connected. The left hand side is the client, right hand side is the server. We can send a command. Let's say we send a login command. We send a login command. Then you can see in the server side, new login request received. And we send a, I think this is the reply. And in the client side, press Y and we can send another message. Hello? Hello? And cannot understand this message. The server cannot understand it. So and we reply, I cannot understand you. So in the client side, we can see. So that's how can they do the communication when you done this part. So basically you don't need to do anything for this part, just try to run it if you have no idea how to do it. But let's try to like change the login part for this code to make it work. If you scroll down in the server, then you can see we have the login code in here. If message equal to login, then we can print this thing and self-process login. So we will run this function. Then you can, the function is in here. So we need to modify this function to make it work. So we need to design our protocol at first. So let me make a very simple version of it. So firstly, I will change the client side because I want the user to input the username and password in this side. So you can see message equal to input this one. So when I doing the thing on the client side, I want to type something like this, make it easier to understand. Login and with my username and password, mean password. So let's do this first. So I will type the login command with my username and password in one row. And I want to server to understand this one and reply login success. So in here, I can change the code in the login part. in the client side, we don't need to do anything because we just want to send all the thing in one row. So no need to change the client side. But the server side, we need to change the if command in here because we send all the details in one row, right? So maybe log in the message in this part because the message is longer than login itself. We still have the username and password inside. So if the login string inside the message, then we come to here. We need to verify. So we just simply split the message in the message. So we pass this message into the login function, and the login function should receive the message itself. So we can split the message. The message. So the action is login, and the username and the password will equal to message dot split. So we are trying to split the message into username and password because we are going to type our message like this. Let me check. We are going to type our message in this format. We are using the space to split it. So, and then we can add if the username is admin and password is admin password, then we can print admin login success. And then we can also have the message. Okay, let's just use this one as our message and reply it. The message equal to this one. So reply message. This one is the message we want to reply to the client side. And we can print it out as well. And then print, and we will send this message. Okay, so let's see how this works. I'll close the client and server, and we run it. Let's change the port number to 5002. Okay, this time we are going to log in admin and admin password. Okay, you can see admin login success in this side, but in here it says make no sense. So we need to figure this out. Why are we printing this out? Message make no sense. So we set it's in here, right? Because this is the response from the server side. Let me just change all this thing. Maybe if message, just make it else. Yeah, just delete this part. Else we print the receive message. So we don't need to change too much to make it run. So let me cancel this one and do it again. Login, admin password. It will print admin login success, right? So that's how they do the communication. So you can see to implement this kind of login function is not very hard, but this one is just very basic one. So let us try to change it for more details. For example, the first task is we want to have the login input. We are not going to input the login command like this. That's when we type the login stuff, then we can ask user to type the name and the password instead of putting in the one row. So how can we do it? We can just simply change the client side in this part, I think. Input. Okay. So in here, we are asking user to have the input. So if the message equal to login, then we are requesting for the username input. please give you never mind. Just use it name and password equal to input and password. And what's next? This should be enough. Okay, then we combine them together to make it in the same format. So the message will equal to message. Let's change it in this part so it's less confusing. Message will equal to login and the username and the password. So in here, we ask the user to input the username and password, then combine them into the plain text like we did in here. We will send this kind of thing to the client, to the server side. Okay, let's see how it goes. Rerun it. Let me clear this part so you can see clear. So firstly, we run the login command. Then it will ask us to input our username, admin, and admin main password, and it will set login success. So that, how about we run it with invalid password, admin and 123. This one is invalid password, and it will not reply anything, right? Because we have an error in the server side here. Reply message with before assignment. So we have a bug in here because we have no idea how to handle this one. We didn't define this function here. So if the username equal to this one, then we reply the message. Otherwise, we need to reply login failed. Login failed. Okay, this should work. So let's see if we can print the login failed. Let's type login and the admin password. You can see login success. And let's try the login failed. Login admin 123. This one is the wrong password, and you can see login failed. So that's the draft version of the login function. It's not pretty hard, right? Just modify this function and make it work. So in here you can see I made a simple protocol by asking the client and server sending the message in this kind of format so they can understand each other. So let me draw something to let you to understand easily. The left hand side is the server. It is running on the local host at 5001 at this place, and the right hand side is the client. Oh, sorry, can you see the whiteboard? Yeah, okay. So what we did is we write the client and the server. The client is also running on the same IP address, but in a different port number that we don't know. So you can print it out if you want, but now I don't know. So what they do is they send a message. So firstly, it's the client send a message to the server side, and the servers return another message, right? So in this case, it's pretty simple. Just the client side send login and the admin mean password. This one is the plain text. So we are sending this string into the server side, and the server is reply login success. Just still in the plain text. Right. So this one is pretty simple and very easy to understand. And in the server side, we have a login function. I think it's not login, it's process login. Yeah, it's process login. This one. It says it basically do the verification of the password. And the second one is to make the response success or fail. Right? This function basically do these two things. So you can see this simple protocol make logging work. We are just sending the plain text right now to make the logging happen. So what's more right now is try to read the credential.txt, because we are not going to have only one username and password for our client side and the server side, right? So we need to have a txt file to save all the credentials. If you go to the website, then you can see. Let me have a quick share to you. Okay, in here, we search credential. We will have a credential.txt. So we can go to the assignment, credentials. Sorry, this one is not the correct one. This one is the correct one. So this one is the txt file. Let's just copy this one into our WeLab and make it work. So in here, we come back to here and create a credential file, create document. You can also simply download it, credentials.txt. I cannot open it. There is a bug in the WeLab, so I cannot open it. Let me open the spider. Where's my spider? Okay. I need to close my spider and then open it. Otherwise, I cannot open it. Okay, we come back to here. Let's try to load the content from the credential.txt, right? Because we need to load all the credentials. So maybe we need to add something here. Load credentials.txt, get all the username and password. So what can we do is we can use the with command. We've opened the credentials.txt with the read-only access, and then as we shows file, and we then shows file dot read, right? Credentials content equal to the read. So we are loading all the content inside the txt file from here. But you may not know what is the content looks like inside. So we can try to run it in the directory in the console, so you can have a check. Okay, so copy. What's the address? This is the address. Yeah. Let's just open the terminal here. Python 3, and we copy the same code. So just paste. Doesn't work. Let's just type it. So we've opened credentials.txt and read only as file content equal to file.read. So we can see what is content right now. It's a super long string. So how can we split it into different username and password? So we can split it by row. So for row in content dot split in the delimiter for row, and then we print. Let's see what's the row in each line. So you can see we print it row by row. How about, so we can just split it with the space between them, right? It's pretty easy. So what we need to do is just type the same content for rows in credential.content dot split. Then we need to split the username and the password inside the row. So row dot split again. So in here, I just use the very simple method to do it because it's very quick. But if you know how to use the regular expression, that would be like much robust. So I recommend you to do it with the regular expression if you can, because in this way you may have some error in this side. In here it should work. Let's try. So if the username and the password inside here, we need to maybe add them into somewhere to save it. And then we need to just compare it, right? We need to do something with in this part. If the username is inside this file, then we can do something. So maybe make it easier. Maybe just put it in here. In every for loop, this one we will waste kind of resource, but it's pretty easy to do the coding. Anyway, we don't need to save the resources. If the username is equal to this one, so maybe we need to change the variable naming here. You can see it's we have the conflict here. If the row username in the row password. So if the username is the username sent by the client, if the username is equal to the row username, so we will go through row by row, and the password equal to the row password, the password in the row, and then we reply login success. Otherwise we don't need to have the else in here, because if we login, okay, so we need to set something here. We need to set a flag login success equal to true. Otherwise, we set it as false. Right? Yeah. And so in here, we type if login success, then we have this reply message. Otherwise, false. Yeah. Okay. So this should work. Let me try and see how it goes. Let me add a. Okay, let's try to log in with this one and see how it goes. Rerun the server in different port number and the client, and we are trying to log in with the username. What is the username again? It's the super something. Super smart watch. XLMP 961. Oh, sorry, made a mistake. I typed something, so may lead to a bug in here because I have a space in here, so I crashed my server. So that's the reason I'm saying that we shouldn't use this method to split my message. So you can see in the server side, I use this method to split message. If I have the space inside the command, it will crash my server. So I recommend you to do it with the regular expression. Let's try to run it again. Log in. So the username is super smartwatch. Super smartwatch. The password is CMP9331. Oh, what happened? Not enough values to unpack. I think this is because we have an error in here. Not enough. So let me just quickly fix this problem. Let's try. Accept. Continue. Yeah, I think this is because I have a empty line at the end of the file. Let me try again. Super smart watch CMP9331. Oh, it says message from server is empty. That's wild. And we didn't receive anything in this side, right? Did we? Oh yeah, made a mistake. I realized that because in here I need to split it with the space instead of this one. My bad. Okay, let's do it again. Logging. Super smart watch CMP9331. Okay, so you can see we can log in with the username and password inside the file. That's the stuff. And let's try another invalid password. Login. Super smart watch password 123 login failed. So we complete the login function like this, but it's not completed yet because obviously this function is not good. This function is not completed. You need to fix it. It always crashed. And in order to do the blocking, so you can go back to the specification and have a look of the blocking. Yep, you can read this content by yourself. We need to block the client for 10 seconds if they input many times of invalid password. So this one should be very easy after this, right? If you still want me to show it, we can have a quick look of it. Okay, just give me a sec. You can read through this content at first, so you need to understand how it works. Okay, let's just have a quick look of the blocking. Yeah, let me share my screen for that part. So in here we can see for the maybe we need to show something here to every time we fail it. So when we fail, I think it's in here. If this one login is equal to success, otherwise we need to like make some note to specify login failed, to specify like how many times they failed in here. So how can we do to specify that? Maybe we need to have some how to put it like logging failed times equal to this times x. So I think we can have a dictionary in here. So we can have a self dot log different times. This one we can put username in here. This one like this. So we are going to put the failure time for every user. And this one should be a default dict. So let's try to make a default dict in the init here. So the self dot what's the name of that? Okay. Login file time. It's a dictionary. I go to should be an integer. I think I need to import it from collection. Yeah, hope it worked. I'm not really sure. Default dict. It's just like the dictionary. I will specify it's the integers inside the dictionary. So if you have no idea how this works, then you can have a chat online. Pretty easy to understand it. Just 10 minutes to learn it. Is that okay? And let's see how this works. And every time it fails, then we can print. We also print how many times they failed. Okay. We add username. Well, self.login. Okay, let's see. I'm not pretty sure this will work, but let's try. Login. Super smart watch. 1, 2, 3. It's already 7 times. How? That's weird. Any idea? Let me try it again. Let me fail once more. Login. And super smart watch. 14 times. Oh, that's wild. Okay, we have some problem with the dictionary, I think. So let's try to fix it. Failed 14 times. Oh, is it? No? Hmm. Oh, it's a for loop. You're right. Yeah, and I didn't specify login failed, but we don't need to. They just make it easy to understand. If login success, else, yeah, we should put in here. This should work. So in here, I just print the failure times, but now you should have some idea how to block it. So if we reach these times, then we can do something to block it. You have no idea how to block it for 10 seconds. Yeah, so when you do the blocking, you can create a dictionary. You can have this kind of thing, self.logging block. So inside it should have some username, and you can also use a dictionary or default dict with the datetime. You can put the datetime inside and specify. I still don't get that. Uh, yes, so I mean, you need to have this kind of dictionary. For example, this one. Mm, admin and a take time, but in here I just make it easier to put it in a string format, make it easier to understand it, like three, like this. You can have a dictionary like this. So every time a user try to log in, you come to this dictionary and check the username. If the time is before this one, then we will not allow them to log in. Otherwise, we will allow it. If there is no value for that, then we will allow it. And if they reach, like, let's say 3 times of failure, then we need to update the value for that, right? For example, the admin failure to log in the stuff 3 times, then we update this value to the current time plus 10 seconds and save it. Yeah. Any questions? So I think that's it for today. Oh yeah, one more stuff is the login. Let me try to play with multiple user, but I think we don't need to do anything to do the login, right? In here we can Python S3 TCP client. The port number. What is the port number? 5006. Logging to another one. Looking to hands. Smart watch. JEDI KMIJC. Yeah, you can see we can run multiple clients at the same time. Smart watch without any problem. So no need to do anything for the multiple login because they have already have the code in here. At the end of it, you can see this is the threading. For every new user, we create a new thread and start it. That's the way how we do multiple clients. So no need to do anything for this part until you reach the UDP part. Yeah. Any other questions? Just for the recording, I will stop it right now because I don't want to make it very long. I will stop the recording right now, but yeah, you can share your screen after that and feel free to ask any question.